Hey, what's up, everybody? You get a quick, after a 10-hour shift, after an hour and a half at the gym this morning, since 3:30 a.m., you get an encore video midweek, which I don't normally do. Yeah, so bald. My room's a bit of a mess. Don't mind it. Yeah, I wanted to get this video out there because I can't believe I've slept on this topic, and I was thinking about it today. And it's pretty important, okay? I don't even know what I'm going to name this video. It's got to be something along the lines of, like, throw out your extra alcohol when you decide to stop drinking. Something along those lines. Like, get rid of your extra alcohol. Something like that, right? Okay. One habitual thing I did when I would try to quit drinking, because a lot of my sober epiphanies would happen during a hangover, like, man, I'm done, right? And I'd have half a handle of rum or half a fifth of rum left, right, from like whatever, and I would not throw it out, right? I'd let it sit. I remember during like my 1-2 month sobriety stint, it sat there the entire time. I don't recommend this. Like, other people's alcohol doesn't bother me. I don't know why. That may be an issue for you. But yeah, I've went sober with like active extra alcohol sitting in like a cupboard. But is it always in the back of my mind? Was it always in the back of my mind? I don't think it was all the time, but it was always like a hindrance subconsciously, I think. Like, I knew it was there. It was almost like holding on to the drink, right? I highly recommend just getting rid of it, which also, I've also had many stints where I dump 8%ers, like the remainder of them, or liquor, which I have. The liquor I dumped, you know, the day I decided to get sober. I've done that many times too. And then weeks later, I'm right back to drinking, even sometimes the very next week. So I would dump alcohol and be like, why did I dump that? I could have drank that on top of whatever I bought this week. You know, I've done that before too. Alcoholism is a wild brain whack, man. It really is. But also, like, I would always plan around the remainder of alcohol, right? Like, say I went sober 2 weeks and I'm like, hey, I'm going to drink, whatever. I had a rough week. And say I had half a fifth. I would make sure I got enough alcohol to get obliterated, right, for the weekend, like one night during the weekend. So if I had like half a fifth, I'd make sure I had another fifth. Or sometimes I'd even buy a handle, and I could never finish it, but I always had to have more than I needed. It was always a habit. If I had like 3 8%ers, I needed a 12-pack more, even though I'd never finish them. It was really horrible with always needing more than I needed, right? Like, people would notice that too. You know, they'd be like, wow, you bought a lot of alcohol. You're going to drink all that. I never would, but it was just like a mental thing. I had to always have enough. But having it there, I would always plan around it, right? Every time. Like, oh, I have a 3%, I'll get a fifth, that'll do me in. Or I have 3 8%ers, I'll get a fifth, that'll do me in. It always had to be enough to where I knew I'd get drunk, plus a bit more, no matter what I had left over. So it was like an habitual thing, keeping it stored away. And the fact I went 2 months with just letting that sit, it's like impressive, but also I don't recommend that. Like, get rid of it. Now, if other people's alcohol bothers you, you might need to take precautions on that. But I'm not saying it's not possible. I mean, I've gotten sober and given alcohol away or sold it. I've done it all in the past 15 years, you know? But yeah, letting it sit, I think that's a hindrance to your sobriety. And I've had nights where I just decided to drink what was there on a weekend. It's here. It's easy. When you have to drive and go get it or walk and go get it, it's a bit of a barrier, even though that won't stop you if you're going to drink, right? Like, once you commit, your relapse percentage goes up greatly, especially like I've stopped myself mid-drive. I pulled into a parking lot, pulled out. But once I enter like a liquor store or a beer barn or beer beverage store or, you know, whatever, Once I'm in, I'm like committed, like it's done, it's game over for me. I think one time I brought a handle of rum home, and I ended up returning it, and I got a refund. That was one time. So yeah, that just tells you, that's a whole other topic. I've talked about that in the past, but I'd recommend not, especially if it's like a morning you're hungover and you're deciding to get sober. I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of people's sobriety epiphanies are going to happen when they're hungover because they're tired of feeling that way. I'd recommend dumping it out, selling it, or giving it away. That's just me. Don't hold on to it. I've been there. I've done that. And I'm telling you, it will hinder you. It will hinder you. And I feel like this is such an important topic that I'm making it midweek after like 12 hours of just, I'm exhausted. I don't normally make content during the week unless like I'm really ambitious, man. Like I get home, I have to cook. I'll game a bit, maybe play some guitar, get on my phone, browse, impulse buy some things. But that's a big tip. I don't think I really touched on that fully in the past. If I have, I apologize, but I don't think I have. But yeah, get rid of it. Just get rid of it. Don't hold on to it. It's almost like you're grieving and you're holding on, knowing you're going to drink again. Like, honest to God, like, if you truly want to be done, you got to get rid of it. Because when I've left it sit, I've went sober for weeks, months. I've left alcohol sit like that. And the time I actually got sober, I dumped it out. I have not had my own alcohol around me in my apartment in over a year. I've had other people drink around me and stuff, which if you can't handle that, I don't recommend that, but like it doesn't faze me. I was never like an everyday drinker, and I like seeing someone drink, it won't make me just go and drink. If you have that impulsion, you got to be more cautious, right? But I've been to like family gatherings and parties, not like a house party, but like just family type stuff, and I've been around people drinking. It doesn't faze me. Sometimes it will hit me like, oh, I remember these times, man. Like just I'll see people a little buzz. It's like, I miss that, like, turning off, Then you got to back away a bit. You always got to be aware of it. And that's why I like driving to these events, because then, like, I've never been a person that would drink and drive, so it, like, safeguards me, right? But get rid of it. You know what I'm talking about. And if you're, like, a week sober and you did have a hangover epiphany about sobriety and you have some sitting around, don't hold on to it. Let it go. I'm telling you, like, just let it go. Like, it's always going to be there in the back of your mind some way or another, right? And it's going to, like, right now with a year sobriety, like, if I did happen to have half a bottle, it would not faze me. A smell of it would make me sick. But, like, early on in sobriety, you're gonna crave it more. You're compulsively thinking about it more, and I'm telling you, just get rid of it. All right, and there's your quick video for the week. Take it easy.